a Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nelles, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Good morning and welcome in. This is the Mason Crosby Show on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan, on the Odyssey and now the iHeart app as well. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Do we need a new open on days when Mr. Vacation, Mr. Retired is not here? I'm not sure, but the thought did cross my mind. You know what else crossed my mind is, man, are these Milwaukee Brewers fun to watch. Joining me now as he's here every day except for one. What'd you miss? One day?
I've missed two Mason Crosby shows.
2 days, okay.
Mason Crosby shows.
He is the one, the only. Don't call him Tom. Thomas. Okay. Carl Wirtz.
Thank you. Yeah, do you
TK
know...
TK Dub.
Mitch, I know you are a fellow Northwoods leaguer.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing my Chinook shirt right now.
I almost wore a Chinooks hat today. I was so close. Yeah. And then I instead went with a different team. Okay. Are you familiar at all with the logo on my hat right here?
I feel like I should be. Mm-hmm. I definitely recognize it.
It is the K-Town Bobbers.
Okay, yep.
When the 2020 COVID season was in effect. Right. The Kenosha Kingfish.
And like some teams opted in and some teams opted out. I believe the Chinooks opted out.
The Kenosha team was, I believe the Lakeshore Chinooks did opt out, but then they formed with the Madison Mallards and became the K-Town Bobbers for a year.
Okay.
And so there are no more of these hats in any production. That's amazing. And I love this hat. I think it's a fire logo, fire uniform. It's literally a bobber with baseball seams on it.
Speaking of fire logos, whether it's the ball and glove, the classic Milwaukee Brewers, whether it's their current logo, I know a lot of people hate on those 90s logos, like with some green in there and some like straight up M. I think they're all fire because when your team is playing well, all logos are fire, and that's what's going on right now with our Milwaukee Brewers. We've got so much to get to today. 414-677-1250 is the phone number. I've already got a ton of comments on my Facebook page where I put up a question about how special this is, sweeping the Dodgers, and like how all in are you, and all those sorts of things. We've got to talk about Mr. McGill, Trevor McGill, and his. This might be Tommy. We talk about, like, who's a dog, right? And Caleb Durbin is a dog.
Isaac Collins
is a dog. What Trevor McGill did this season and leading up to the All-Star break might be the doggiest dog, D-O-double-G thing I have ever heard in my entire life, and we will definitely get to that. I was in the locker room when he shared the story of his plans for the All-Star break, and it was like jaw-dropping, epic drama where Trevor McGill owns Earth right now.
He is a dog, and it seems like his velocity is ticked up just a smidge and more, sitting around that 99 as opposed to dropping it down to 98, 97, and he can reach up to 101 over the last couple of days. And I think everyone in the Milwaukee Brewers organization, especially the pitching staff, really felt it this series against the Dodgers. They were all ready. I mean, we just talked about it at the back end of Pack-A-Day Radio with Andy. They had 4 pitchers go 2 days ago, and all four of them hitting 100 throughout. Jared Koenig can throw 100. Did anyone know that?
He felt the momentum. He felt the pressure from his teammates. So we will get to what Mr. McGill had to say. We will get to the pitching staff. Another dog, the newest dog on the Milwaukee Brewers. Hold on. Let me. Let's see if I tee this up just right.
Yeah, he can't get out of it. That one is out of here. A grand slam for Greg Vaughn. And the Brewers beat the Oakland Athletics by a score of 11-7.
Wait a minute, that's not the right Vaughn, is it?
No.
I mean, we love Greg Vaughn, right?
Did you?
I don't know. Was that Jim Powell on the call? It wasn't Euchre.
I mean, you're.
But it was awesome.
Were
Greg
you-
Vaughn with a walk-off grand slam in 1991 against the Oakland A's. He's up at 7-7 with the bases loaded, and he hits a grand slam. Was it?
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason in his major league debut. Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches.
I love when you get creative.
I try. It wasn't. It's not that Vaughn either, though. Although I will say it is amazing. It is amazing to hear Bob Uecker's voice still. Like, I love that we have the technology, and I don't want the AI. Like, I don't want Bob Uecker calling 2025 games.
Right.
And someone's
That would
doing
be
that.
weird.
Someone's doing
weird.
it, though.
Yeah.
Like, someone is sitting in their basement with ChatGPT or whatever, or Gonk or Gronk or Gook or Gop or Gap or Filet Mignon, whatever it's called.
Correct, yep.
Yeah, it's not filet. But somebody's getting Uecker's voice for, like, the Brewers playoff games. Like, somebody's getting that ready. I don't want that. Like, I love Bob. We all love Bob. But I love that we can go back and listen to Bob. Is it Friday night?
And Vaughn sends it way back. And welcome to Milwaukee. How about that, Andrew Vaughn?
First at bat as a Milwaukee Brewer Friday night. Was it Saturday?
Vaughn, left center. It's down, and the Brewers are going to tie the game.
By the way, not Friday, Saturday. I'm talking Monday, Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday. And then so Monday with the home run. Tuesday with the game tying. Was it yesterday?
Vaughn breaks his bat. That's going to get down. Here comes Collins. He will score. Durbin into third. Andrew Vaughn delivers in the clutch. We're tied at 2.
Can you look up Andrew Vaughn's height and weight for me, Tommy?
I can. He looks like a stocky guy, for sure.
He is stocky. I was surprised that he was not taller. Like, I don't know about significantly, but what do they have him listed?
They are listing him at 6 feet, which
Nope,
seems
0%.
very generous.
I am 6 foot, and I'm at least 2 inches taller than him.
And I can't quite, I haven't found the weight
Tommy,
yet.
how tall are you?
I'm like a strong 5'9".
Okay. I think he's 5'10".
Yeah.
I think he's 5'10".
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, we all in the clubhouse yesterday looked at him and was like, wow, I thought he'd be taller. He is stocky. Like, he's a big dude. But he is not tall. And it's like,
and he's set at 214, and I think he's got a little more meat on him than that, too, even.
yeah, but it's muscle with him.
Yeah. Oh, he's strong.
Yeah.
He is strong. I'll give him that.
Not me. My 214 is not muscle. That's
Right,
for sure.
right.
It is all tummy. But Andrew Vaughn, what a way to start your Milwaukee Brewers career. A 3-run homer in your first at bat. A game-tying single in your second game. A game-tying single in the bottom of the 9th in a pinch hit roll. Broken bat to tie the game yesterday. I mean, you can't script it better than what Andrew Vaughn is doing. 414-677-1250 is the Nikolai Law Fan Talking text line. 414-677-1250. And Tommy, I had the tweet written yesterday, and it didn't end up coming to fruition when our buddy Jake came up with the bases loaded. And I was going to say, I had it written that said, Andrew, great debut. Now hold my beer. Right?
I was
ready. I was ready. And then he fouled, like, and it's like, if there's one more row of seats, that ball's in the stands and he's got a new life. But it was just at the very edge. Third baseman makes that catch. And Jake Bowers leaves the bases loaded.
He is in a real bad struggle right now. It's bad. And I was trying to justify it in an argument with someone the other day, and I was like, go look at Rhys Hoskins in June, because Hoskins was not doing well in June. He batted like 150 during that time. I think he had like 80-some plate appearances, if I remember it correctly. And then we went and looked at Jake Bauers, and all the numbers were worse still. I think he was batting $120 at the time. 2 months ago, Hoskins and Bauers were the only two that could provide anything in the offense, and now they are the two weakest points. Obviously, Hoskins not going to be in for a little bit.
Out for 6 weeks, I believe.
I have a question for you about that, Mitch, and I don't want to derail this segment too much, but I was talking about it yesterday. We know Hoskins is going to be out for quite some time, like till August, mid-August, late August.
6 weeks, they're saying.
Is there a reason you think they went 10-day IL instead? Because that would put them before the trade deadline?
Ooh. I don't. I think it's just, I don't think they're ready to put him on the 60. Like 62. I guess they could put him on the 15, right? There's a 10, a 15, and a 60.
Right.
There's no 30. If there was a 30, I think they could put him on the 30. If he's 4 to 6 weeks, but it could be 6 weeks. 6 weeks is 42 days. It's not 60 days. So I think, whatever those Major League Baseball rules are about, how many guys you can have on each and roster spots and all those sorts of things. I assume it has something to do with they expect him back or they want him back before that 60 days. I think that's all it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just curious if that was because now, if Andrew Vaughn is hot all of July, one of those guys is going between, and it's not going to be Vaughn.
But Vaughn or Hoskins?
Well, Hoskins or Bauers.
Right. Well, it's Bauers. Because you can't trade. There's no way you're trading or getting rid of an injured player. If Vaughn is hot, Vaughn's not going anywhere. Bauers is the lefty, so you'd think Bauers could stay.
But he also provides the outfield flexibility,
right,
which we have not seen yet from Vaughn, but is supposed to have the same.
Right. So I'd argue no one's going.
Okay.
Like and it's unfortunate. Whether it's, I think the argument would have been if Vaughn got hot in the minors and you needed a spot for him. Do you then flip him to somewhere else, or do you trade Hoskins? But with Hoskins hurt, it kind of forces your hand that this is your lineup. Like you're moving forward with Vaughn and Bauers, and if Hoskins comes back in mid to late August, you deal with that then. And I actually have a feeling that it'll be Hoskins. Like they'll try to get Hoskins back. He's done it. I know that Vaughn has 72 career home runs, so he averages 18 home runs a year in his last 4 years in the majors. But Hoskins is the one with playoff experience. Hoskins is the one who's done it for the Phillies. I think they'd like to get Hoskins. I think even now, with as good as the Vaughn has been, and again, you're right, we're getting a little too ahead of ourselves. I think they'd really like Hoskins to be the man and to get hot in September. This is the Mason Crosby Show with me, Mitch Thunder Nelles, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Remember, you can join Mason and Jordy. And actually, I saw the press release from the Beloit Daily News. There's a whole bunch of people signed up to play in this softball game. So you're going to want to get to the Beloit Brouhaha Softball Slam July 27th at ABC Supply Stadium. You can win tickets right now at thefanmilwaukee.com. Remember, all proceeds go to Make-A-Wish, Wisconsin. So Google Beloit Brouhaha Softball Slam, buy tickets, register for a chance to win tickets at thefanmilwaukee.com. It's going to be a blast there in Beloit. I've got it marked off on my calendar. Somebody asked me yesterday, they were looking at that weekend for something, and I was like, nope, busy, definitely busy. That's, I'm busy for that softball game.
Yeah, we'll have the whole Mason Crosby show will be there. Sparky will be there. Right. No Charlie or Andy, I don't believe.
I think Charlie's going to be at the softball game. I think he is. The press release says he's going to be there.
Well,
that he was just added.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens with it. But yes.
Does he have to produce a radio show on Sunday or something?
No, Did he have
something going on?
He has his other obligation that day. Okay. So
maybe he got out of it. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. But full Mason Crosby show will be there.
Yep. So make sure you register for your chance to win tickets at thefanmilwaukee.com. Reminder, we are now on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. Make sure you use that ampersand. Nope, it's not the ampersand.
I think it's just the at symbol.
It's the at symbol, yeah. It's not the do not use the ampersand.
Don't use an ampersand.
Use the at signal at The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. You can watch us right now. I could see me. I could see Tommy's awesome hat. I didn't do that. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I
didn't put my hand up.
Awesome must be a word that gets it to zoom in.
Exactly. Wow, that's crazy. The Milwaukee Brewers sweep the LA Dodgers. Is there extra meaning to you, Brewers fans, that it was against the LA Dodgers? I didn't ask Pat Murphy this after the game, but I did want to ask him, like, is there any special juice that you've now swept the Phillies and the Dodgers? Now, if I'm Pat Murphy, I come back and say, well, we lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets. It's not like we're not beating everybody, because that's manager speak, right? You can't.
Didn't sweep the Pirates,
right? Exactly.
2 series against the Rockies, and they're the worst team ever,
right? And didn't sweep either of those.
No.
So if you think of it as you went 6-0 against the Rockies and you won 2 out of 3 from Philly and LA, like, is there any difference? No. It's just does it. And there is an extra juice. I mean, listen, Jose Quintana said it in the dugout in the clubhouse yesterday that, like, when you see the Dodgers, when you see those names, even if they have more guys, more payroll on the injured list than the Brewers have on their entire team.
Oh my God!
Right now, and that got that got a little flipped yesterday with Tyler Glasnow being activated, and he was good, but he wasn't great. Like, the Brewers definitely left some opportunities out there. Could have scored more runs. We talked about the Jake Bauers at bat. There were some others as well. But the Brewers sweep the Dodgers. The Brewers previously have swept Philadelphia. I think we can all be excited. I wonder about expectations. I wonder about your expectations. 414-677-1250. The Brewers are now 53-40. They are 13 games over 500. I think, let's see, that's 53-40. I didn't do the math. I meant to do it before the show. But the math of, like, what they're on pace for right now. I'm going to bust out my calculator.
Well, I'll say this just to that question there, Mitch. And maybe the expectations aren't necessarily, hey, this needs to be a team that's competing for the best place in the NL.
Expectations have to be managed.
But I want to say this, that there now is a significant, it feels like, amount of pressure and expectations on this front office to try to get to that point. Because they have the pitching for the playoffs. They do. I mean, when you talk about you could have a 3-game series where it's Peralta, Miz, Woodruff.
Yeah,
like that's a phenomenal top 3. And Woodruff,
and you're not even talking about Quintana,
right? And Woodruff, right? Maybe he gets moved into a bullpen role later on because he, based on how they want to bring him back. Or same with Miz. I would be very upset if they did that, but I would understand that they in a 3-game series, like, they want to make everyone available, and that's how they might do it. But you cannot say that this team doesn't have the pitching staff.
No, they do. To
make a run in the postseason.
Absolutely.
But you can absolutely argue that their bats will not be up to speed for the postseason play, and they are under a lot of pressure, it feels like, to make a move for one of those bats.
Well, and that's why Jeff Passan comes out and says, they are 1 bat away. They are 1 big bat away. And it's a big bat. Like, they're not a random journeyman away. Like, yes, I think something's going to happen at shortstop. Like, you just get the feeling that Murph is done with Ortiz, Monasterio's not good enough, and they got to do something. They got to figure something out at shortstop. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how it's all going to play, but you get that feeling being around the team that, like, Ortiz is, like, looking at fastballs down the middle, then swinging at sliders in the dirt. Like, whether he's in his head or he needs a break or they get rid of him.
I wonder how open they are to moving around the defensive front, and if they were to, say, go out and get a third baseman, and we'll talk about one in the next segment, but if they were going to go out and get a third baseman, would they be able to move Caleb Durbin to second base, move Bryce Terang to short? Would they be open to something like that?
Right.
Are they more...
they clearly were open to that in spring training. And so the question is, can you move Bryce Terang to shortstop at this point of the season?
Right, middle of the year.
I don't think you can move Caleb Durbin. I don't think he can play shortstop. He obviously came up as a highly touted second baseman. Can clearly play third base as well.
Phenomenal third base.
Has done a great job. But the question is, can Bryce Terang play shortstop, or do you need to go get a shortstop? Because those are your options right now. Like, that is the hole in the lineup. As good as Joey is at defense, and as hot as he was for a few games last week, he hits a grand slam, he hits another home run. It looks like he's got things right, and then he does things wrong.
Yeah.
That Pat Murphy can't abide by.
He pretty much got benched yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, more or less.
All right, so I want to get to the Trevor McGill story coming up, because I just think it blows my mind. And maybe I buried the lead here by leading with Andrew Vaughn and leading with our excitement of the Brewers, leading with our expectations of the Brewers, because what Trevor McGill did in his life, I would say, but shared with us in the clubhouse yesterday was literally unbelievable. Like, I love it. I love the attitude. I love the confidence. We even talked about yesterday, did he deserve to make it? And we looked at the numbers and we were like, yeah, he probably did, but like, he's in that mix. I love what he did. So the Brewers sweep the Dodgers. There's an off day today. It means Tommy's off from the leadoff show. 3-game series against the Nationals tomorrow. Tim Dillard will join Sparky this afternoon at 3:20 to talk about everything that went down over the last few days. He, again, is with FanDuel Sports. He's our Wisconsin Brewer. He's with FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. He is our Brewers analyst. So he'll be on with Sparky today at 3:20. Again, that's on the free Odyssey and iHeart apps as well. We'll talk some Trevor McGill when we come back. We'll talk some trade opportunities for our Milwaukee Brewers when we come back. And I've got a ton to get to on my Facebook page. I set up the question earlier today. I think when I was rolling out of bed, I'm like, I need a prompt. I need one of those questions that's going to get people rolling. And I went with, let's see what I want. Let's go home on my Facebook page. Come on in. There you go. Our internet's usually really good here. Here we go. Come on. Oh, what is that? Special atmosphere at AmFam yesterday. Who was there? Is there added meaning in sweeping the Dodgers? Meaning in sweeping the Dodgers. I'm wondering from you, is there added meaning that the Brewers just swept the top team in the National League? There are now 5 teams in the NL separated by 2.5 games for that top spot. The Dodgers are still top. The Cubs are 1 behind. Philly 1.5 behind. Mets are 2 behind, and the Brewers are 2.5 behind the Dodgers for the top spot. The Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies, Mets, and Brewers are separating themselves right now. That doesn't mean they will for good. Remember, it's only July 10th. But right now, those 5 teams have separated themselves as the class of the National League, and our Milwaukee Brewers are part of that discussion. This is the Mason Crosby. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. It's my show today. It's my show tomorrow. It's my show Monday. Mason, enjoy the beach, my friend. Do you know the band? No, you don't know this one? Oh, Tommy. That's classic REM. Have you heard of REM?
I think I'm lying if I say I've heard of them even.
That's fair. I feel like they have a couple songs that you would recognize. This is like probably their third or fourth most famous song. Glad it's in the rotation. But yeah. So this is REM. What's the frequency, Kenneth? This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. I think I'm getting a new phone today.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I think we called in an order to my guys at the Verizon store at Bayshore, my favorite spot.
Are you going iPhone now or no?
No, I'm
Okay.
not. I was on a walk with Mrs. Thunder yesterday, and we discussed how happy Big Rumble would be because she has an iPhone, and Mrs. Thunder and I both have Androids. How happy Big Rumble would be if I just surprised her, and all of a sudden my bubbles were blue and not green.
Yep.
It would blow her mind. I don't know how long do you think it would take me to learn? I've never used Apple anything in my life.
Okay.
How long do you think it would take me to figure out the buttons and what I'm doing on an iPhone?
Well, there's no buttons on phones anymore.
What do you mean?
Fair.
Well, so what am I? You're right. There's no buttons, but there's the screen.
Yeah. Right. I think it's pretty user friendly. There are a lot of things that I still learn with iPhone where you'll get like that random TikTok or Instagram reel that's like, hey, this is something you can do on an iPhone that you never knew you could do, right?
Okay.
And one of the ones that was so massive is, and I'll help anyone out with an iPhone doesn't know this, if you hold down the space bar while you're typing, you can then drag it to wherever you would like to go in your text, so you don't have to like backspace all the way if you messed up something later on, or try to type the very correct spot, or tap it rather.
Right.
So holding the space bar, life changer.
I don't even understand what like so if I'm typing and I realize I put an extra D in a word. Like I usually just tap where the D is and I hit backspace and I delete the D.
So like just for reference here,
Yeah.
if I'm sending a text message here,
If you're on our YouTube channel
hold
right now,
the space bar, I can
Okay.
drag it to wherever I would like it to go. You can see it when it goes all the way over there.
so weird.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right,
It's awesome.
Do you swipe at all?
Do I
Can you
swipe?
swipe on
Oh
Apple?
no, I don't do like swipe text.
Can you swipe text on Apple?
I mean, I think I have it not. I think I have it disabled, but
Okay.
I can do it
You
if
can.
I would
Okay,
like
all
to.
right.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm not getting an iPhone, but thank you to our friends at Verizon who do a great job here on the Mason Crosby Show. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. And I got to share this Trevor McGill story, and then we'll get to some of my responses on the Facebook page and get into some Brewers trade rumors and who they might be looking at. Because I think it's pretty obvious that shortstop is the spot that they need to make a change at. Whether they get a shortstop or not remains to be seen, but I think that's the spot. So yesterday we're in the clubhouse, and the way the clubhouse works is first you go to the press conference with Murphy. So Pat Murphy has a press conference in the press room, and everybody's there, and then he's done, and everybody goes into the clubhouse. And Andrew Vaughn was there, and some other guys were there, but I think typically the way it works is you always talk to the starting pitcher first. So we're all waiting for Quintana, and Quintana's getting dressed, and Quintana stands up. He's got his hat on, and he's ready to go. And we all like storm around Quintana, and Quintana talks about the game and kind of what you think. Like, he felt really good, and he was battling. I mean, he had he hadn't given up a hit through 4+ innings, and then the first hit he gives up is like a hit that would have gone exactly directly to Bryce Terang, except there was a runner stealing, so Terang had moved. It was like, oh, like you could hear the whole crowd kind of groan, where it was like, oh, like that would have been great if Terang hadn't broken for second and was just right there, he could have made the play. But then, then Vaughn and McGill are both ready, and so you kind of have your choice, go to one or the other. And I went to McGill with a group of guys, and we had just found out from Murphy the breaking news that Trevor McGill made the All-Star team. I don't know if they've announced it yet that he's there in place of Freddie Peralta, but I think everyone pretty much expects, because Freddie's pitching on Sunday, that he's not going to pitch in the All-Star game on Tuesday, and so this is kind of a 1-for-1, Brewer for Brewer. McGill will take the place of Freddie Peralta. So we go to McGill, and we ask him about the game. I asked him, my great question was, like, is there extra juice when you stop a team from scoring in the 10th inning when they have that extra runner starting on second base. Because when he finished that inning, he let out a scream of celebration. And he said, absolutely. When you go up there and you stop them, because then you feel like your team can get that run across. And you've just done something special. When you're closing a game in the 9th, he said that's a normal save. But when you don't let them score in the 10th, there's some juice there. And especially today against the Dodgers, trying to complete the sweep. So he had all the right answers. And then we started asking about the All-Star game. And I don't know if it was Drew Wagner asked a bunch of questions, and so did Adam McCalvey from MLB.com. And somebody asked, what were your plans this week? What were you going to do? Because players are off. The game ends Sunday. The next game isn't until Thursday or Friday. You basically
Friday, for the Brewers, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be Thursday. I don't know if anybody plays on Thursday anymore. It might just be Friday. So you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you got a 4-day break, and Sunday's a day game, and Friday's a night game. So you got it on both ends. You can really you can go to Bermuda and hang out with the Crosbys. You can go to the Smoky Mountains and go to Dollywood. You can do whatever. You can go hang out with family. You can hang out with friends, whatever you want. Miguel said, "No, I had no plans." And we're all right, what were you gonna? He's like, "No, I was going to Atlanta." And we're and so somebody said, as a fan, you were just gonna go. He's like, "No. I was going to Atlanta." We're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I set it as a goal at the beginning of the season that I was going to the All-Star game, that I was going to make the All-Star game, and I never wavered from that goal." And so, but even after the names were announced, he's like, no. My plan, I had no plans. I was going to Atlanta. I was going to be on the All-Star game. I was going to make the All-Star game. That's it. And it was this moment of, you're kind of divided between, are you flabbergasted by that? Are you awed by that? Are you fired up by that? Because Trevor McGill, who clearly has had an all-star worthy season. You could say he's a borderline all-star because there's a number of good closers. And so it's just a numbers game. But his numbers say he is absolutely worthy of being an all-star. And for him to say, no, were you planning on staying home? No. Were you planning on going on vacation? No. Were you planning on, no. I was going to be in that game in Atlanta no matter what. Is such a dog mentality, such a stud. And that's the guy I want closing games for my baseball team.
Well, and on top of that, the Brewers bullpen just continues to be a factory at this point, too. Since 2014, there have been one less All-Star game than the years because there was not an All-Star game in 2020.
Correct.
The Brewers, since 2014, they had K-Rod make it in 14 and 15. 16 is one of the 2 years they did not have a relief pitcher make it.
Okay.
Then they sent Corey Knebel in 2017.
Yep.
They sent Josh Hader and Jeremy Jeffries in 2018.
Yep.
They sent Josh Hader in 2019.
Okay.
In 2021, they sent Josh Hader again. 2022, they sent Devin Williams and Josh Hader. Devin Williams in 23. 24, they did not send a relief pitcher. And then in 25, Trevor McGill. So, I don't have the numbers right now in front of me, but I would be very shocked if there is more bullpen representation across the MLB in the All-Star game outside of the Brewers organization.
Well, and I know you said this right away, and I 100% agreed with it. And maybe this year wasn't the year. But Abner Uribe is absolutely all-star worthy. We did make a comment this year that it seemed like no setup men made it. It was only closers this year. And there are other years where you have a setup man or two, and for whatever reason, the closers got the nod this year. And there might be a day in the future, next year, the year after, where Trevor McGill isn't on the team anymore and Uribe's the closer. And then we'd expect him to make it. And then whoever's next. It is, I like that word you used, Tommy. It has been a factory. It has been just an absolute line of closers that we have seen. And yeah, it helps when you have Josh Hader. Josh Hader's a special talent. And yeah, it helps when you have Devin Williams. And Devin Williams, when he was in Milwaukee, was a special talent. But to see it keep going and to see Trevor, and just again, the studliness of just saying, nope, I was going to Atlanta. Like, what do you mean you were going? You weren't picked for the All-Star game. No, I was going to Atlanta. I was always going to Atlanta. There was never anything else in my mind. I was going to Atlanta. And now it's like when you manifest and you think about something and you make it reality. Trevor McGill made it reality. And kudos to him, because that's awesome.
And right now, Trevor McGill still has 2 more years of arbitration with the team. Nice. After that'll be his age 33 season, the last season he is on the team. And then he is an unrestricted free agent during his age 34 season. So already probably near the back end of his career at least. He came up kind of late. He's only got 3 years of service time right now. And Abner Uribe still has 2 years of pre-arbitration. Then you get 3 years of arbitration. So they still have 5 more years of control on Abner Uribe still too. The bullpen is shored up right now for Milwaukee for quite some time, and it's always been like that. It feels like now since the years of Josh Hader for sure, and even before that, they did have some guys at the back end where they'll still making All-Star games.
Absolutely, and we saw that in 18 and 19, where like Josh Hader was the 7th inning guy. Like, he wasn't even the closer yet because Knebel was there, and then they went and got Jeffress. And they went and got, who was the White Sox, the closer they got, who became like the 7th or 8th inning guy too?
I remember Jim Henderson really locking it in for a couple years there too.
Yeah, there was an old guy they got that just like gave them good innings, whether it was 18 or 19, I can't remember. But just like the bullpen has shown out for the Brewers. It shows out again for the Brewers. And so again, kudos to Trevor McGill for manifesting his first All-Star appearance, and it was just fun. It was fun to see. It was fun to hear him in the clubhouse yesterday as well. And then because I went to Trevor McGill, I missed Andrew Vaughn, and as like the media was like leaving Vaughn, I just grabbed him for a second and said, "Hey, Andrew, I host a radio show here in Milwaukee, so like I get to talk with the fans every day, and like, I mean, is there, thinking about like the atmosphere in the stands, like, could this first 3 days for you gone any better?" And he said, "It was just awesome, man. Like, and it's just like." I should have stuck my phone in his face and gotten that. Just him saying it was awesome, man, because he was like, it was awesome, man. It was like, yeah. I mean, that's it.
Like, it was awesome. It was awesome. It is awesome for sure. And he's got 5 RBIs over the first 3 games. He's got a hit in every one of them and an RBI in every one of them. And
the game tying or winning RBI in all 3 games. I mean, his 3-on homer technically was the game-winning RBI. He then tied the game in game 2. And he tied the game in the bottom of the 9th in a pinch hit appearance in game 3.
Yeah, and that's something that also has to be noted, too, because that is a massive role of, a guy like Jake Bauers, who's also supposed to be a pinch hit guy off the bench.
Yes, he is.
And has had some success in that, including in the postseason last year. But if Andrew Vaughn can also provide something like that, where you have a lefty closer coming in and Vaughn hasn't been a part of that action, just to have someone off the bench that can change the pace up, come off cold and be ready to go. Like I was talking to Drew about it yesterday on the leadoff show. I mean, he hit a foul ball the other day that was just smoked, and you could feel the power in his swing, in his natural ability, just from what he is. And we've seen it countless times with the Brewers. Look at what they just did with Quinn Priester, right? That's a former first-round pick, same as Andrew Vaughn, that a team gave up on him because
had a cup of coffee with the Red Sox, but didn't do anything really.
Right, and as well with the Pirates, he just didn't do well with the Pirates either. A team gave up on him. They sent him to Boston, then they sent him to Milwaukee after that. And the same thing happening with Andrew Vaughn. This is a former number 3 overall pick in the MLB draft, and maybe the success wasn't quite just sustained, but you saw pieces of it. And I would say you saw more what you could have gotten out of Andrew Vaughn than Quinn Priester in his major league time. And the Brewers took a chance on it again. And they're not typically known as reviving hitters' careers like they are with pitchers, but it's a very similar approach as to how they acquire players. It's guys who had high potential that maybe aren't living up to it currently, and they'll give them another flyer and see if they can fix a couple of things.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. We're in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Nicolay Law Fan talking text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Get your thoughts in, get your calls in, get your texts in. Are you managing your expectations? Are you fired up? Is there more meaning after this sweep of the Dodgers. I've got a number of comments on Facebook. Let's go to some of those comments. Tim writes in, let's talk in September, Mitch. They have the pitching to definitely contend, especially in the division, obviously. They need a shortstop that can hit, as Ortiz is a lightweight. But as always, you have to be concerned about the team fading like a Walmart t-shirt after the All-Star break. I don't see that as a concern, honestly. Like, I don't think there's a reason this team would fade. Now, I know that they start the post-All-Star break, and we'll get to this next week, obviously, 3 games in L.A. and 3 games against the Cal Raleighs, right? So that's a tough 6-game set right there on the road to start. But I think this team is, because of their pitching, like they are set up to compete against anybody. John writes in, maybe the next series in L.A. would be more of an indicator. They are not a good team yet, but really close. Well, I'd say, John, they're a good team.
They are definitely a good team.
Right. They might not be a great team yet.
I don't even think you can not say that. Like, this is 13 games above 500, and they should be better. I mean, they are a team that is, always manufacturing and trying to piece things together as an offense throughout the season, and they're still a game and a half back of a lineup that national media thinks is World Series contenders, and 2.5 games back for a team that they crowned the champions back in February already at this point.
And John brings up a good point. The young guys are doing okay, but will they get tired, or do they have the goods to go a few more months? And I think that's something we'll find out. But I think the fact that Bryce and Sal and Jackson played last year, like they got playoff experience, and they got crushing playoff experience. They got motivating playoff experience the way that Met series ended up going. But I do think they, again, Chourio didn't get called up till May of last year, so this is his first full season.
He was on the team opening day last year, Chourio. He batted leadoff both years, yeah.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think he got called up at some point?
No, he was on the opening day roster first day, because he's the youngest guy to bat opening day in forever, and then he did it again for back-to-back years. I think that what needs to be noted with Chourio is just his ability to be adaptable and flexible this season too. I mean, it's got to be
batting
hard.
Anywhere from first to fourth.
Plus, then had to move over to center field, a position he did not play and was not supposed to play. And they're relying a lot on him to just be able to accept any position and role he has on any given day.
Mm-hmm. And he's done it. And listen, we talked about that his defense has improved. There was a play yesterday where there was a fly ball to center field. He took 2 steps in and then had to kind of race to get back to get it, but got it. I'm still not completely sold. He is a great center fielder.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play there very. He has to this season. That's the thing. Yes.
At some point, depending on how I don't know how the outfield is going to shake out in the future for the Brewers. Clearly, this is the outfield for this year, and clearly, Mr. Collins has proven that he deserves the spot that he has earned as well. Let's get into some thoughts about potential trades, thoughts on rumors. I'm not a big rumor guy. I know that our afternoon show likes to get into that a little bit more than I like to get into it when there's reports or just like hearsay of who might be connected to the Brewers. But I think because of what's gone on at shortstop to this point, the fact that Ortiz got benched, then comes back and still looks lost, is that there's an issue there that they're going to need to figure out. So let's talk about the second base, shortstop, third base opportunity that the Milwaukee Brewers have to add a bat. Coming up here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. My name's Mitch Nelles. I think I just broke my mouse. Hold on. Everybody hold on. First world problems for Thunder. Relax. That doesn't feel right. That ain't coming. Oh.
What a perfect song for
it is.
For how this segment just started with your mouse.
There we go. All right, it's working.
All right.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. Know you're alive. Oh. Verizon's the #1 network in Milwaukee, also at Bayshore Mall in Glendale. Well, I will be this afternoon. I think I'm going from the Samsung 21 to the Samsung 25.
Sure.
I think that's what I got. That's what I got waiting for me there. So I'm excited for that. Drew Wagner's going to join us in a few minutes to talk about our Milwaukee Brewers, and we'll probably talk some woodworking and some canoeing, and I think he said he's doing a new fence for somebody on Monday or something. He's got a lot going on.
He's a crafty guy.
He is. I keep trying to get him over to the house. I haven't been able to get him over to the house yet. Real quick, and I'm going to talk about this in the 10 o'clock hour. We've got kind of after Drew Wagner, we're going to do kind of a hodgepodge segment. Did you see the Vikings rookie who got scammed out of $240,000?
I did see like the headline. I have not read into this, but it was $240,000
Can I give a
fraud?
Yeah,
fraud?
Can I give a public service announcement? If you get called by your bank and they say someone is at the bank right now and they are impersonating you and they have your forms of ID, and you need to go to your branch of the bank and transfer money to a random LLC that you've never heard of before to keep your money safe so it's out of your bank account, that is not real. Okay? Okay, Grandma and Grandpa? That is not real. Okay, 23-year-old NFL rookie who's never really had to deal with banking before? That is not real. Okay? That is not real. You do not need to transfer your money from your bank account to a random offshore LLC to keep it safe. You are literally giving your money away to the bad guys.
You know, and I always you're like, there's always the argument of like harping on these like cybersecurity trainings and stuff you always got to do when you're in our business, right? And all of those trainings. And then you just hear cases of it like this, and you're like, okay, I understand why we have to do it, but how could someone actually not understand what's going on?
All right, so I'll get to that a little bit more in the 10 o'clock hour. We pretty much covered it, but I do want to get a little bit deeper into it. So Jeff Passan said the best fit for a trade for the Brewers is Ryan O'Hearn. Mm-hmm. I mean, can I literally just move on and end the conversation and say no?
Well, so you don't want to hear any case for Ryan O'Hearn.
Let's see. Ryan O'Hearn is hitting 286. He's got 11 home runs. He's got 32 RBIs. He's a lefty first baseman.
Yes.
Okay.
And has outfield flexibility.
Sure.
Has played left and right this year.
Yes, I see that. According to his splits that I'm looking at, he has played. I just had him, and now
he's having one of his better offensive seasons in his career, and maybe his best. It's his best OPS plus right now. He's got an OPS of 840, which is the highest since his rookie year.
Yeah, OPS of 840 is very good.
Yeah, and the Brewers, they lack power for sure.
His on base is more exciting than his slugging, I would say.
Yeah, 378 on base is very, very good.
Slugging at 462 is good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I mean, nothing to write home
like
about.
I said, he's got 11 home runs. He's got 13 doubles.
I just don't see another move for a first baseman.
Right. Why? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm literally looking can Ryan O'Hearn play third? I'm looking through his stats.
Well, and then there was another argument on it where, this would move Yelich back to the outfield, and O'Hearn is DHing. Right. No. And then now we're taking probably Isaac Collins out of the equation, which has done nothing to earn that or deserve that either.
Isaac Collins can have a day off a week. He doesn't have to play every day. He can have a day off a week where Yelich or Bowers play left one day a week to get more lefties in the lineup if you're facing a tough righty or so. Although Collins is a switch hitter, so it doesn't really matter that way. But I don't have a problem saying to Collins, you've earned 6/7 of the starts. You get a day off. Most players get a day off unless you're really a stud in the lineup. But Ryan O'Hearn, They have a need at shortstop. They have to fix shortstop. Whether that is moving Terang to shortstop and getting a second baseman or a third baseman and moving Durbin to second and Terang to shortstop, any of those are solutions. Any of those work. Adding a first baseman, like Jeff Passan, you're smarter than that. I know you. Like, you're a smart dude. Like, you know what you're talking about. Ryan O'Hearn doesn't make this team significantly better because he takes a first base bat out to put him in, makes it better, not significantly better, and still leaves a hole in the lineup at short.
I agree.
Like,
I understand.
What are we talking about here?
I understand completely. I think that left side of the infield is the only enticing trade for the Milwaukee Brewers. They're not going to bring in anyone else who plays any other position. They don't need another outfielder.
Right.
They don't need any more pitching. They don't
need. Do they need I could see them trading a double-A pitcher for a backup outfielder. Like, because who's their backup outfielder right now?
It's Bowers and Vaughn.
But who's it? So if you
And
need
Yelich.
somebody, right? So if you need somebody to play right or center, you don't have it. They need a slick fielding, whether they can hit or not. They need a guy who can come in if Chourio strains his hamstring in the seventh inning and just needs to come out for the last 2 innings. They need a defensive replacement in outfield.
Well, they tried to do that with Daz Cameron, and that was a failed experiment.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, anytime.
I think they played Daz too much. Like, they need just a guy to be break in case of emergency.
Sal Frelick would probably be the emergency center fielder again, and then they would move one of these guys over to the corners and move it around from there. But
I don't like that. I know it'd be nice if Perkins could come back and he's the guy, but I wouldn't mind a defensive-minded outfielder to be on this roster. A guy who can play center and right.
Maybe they're hopeful with that with Blake Perkins.
I think they are.
What I'm really scared about is who Nestor's going to take in the spot.
Ooh.
I think that's going to shake some things up because
what's his timetable?
He's already on rehab assignments, and he's made one, and he's making another one as well. Coming up, I think this week. Maybe it's this weekend. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head, but I mean, he's got to take Quinn Priester's spot, unfortunately, because if he takes Jacob Mizorowski's spot, the city will burn.
It will. I mean, they could argue that we're going to put Mizorowski in the bullpen for this year. Because
would look really dumb after the last start he just had.
Yes, it would. I agree with that. Let's get to Drew Wagner. Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports, our Milwaukee baseball insider, will join us next. We'll talk about all this stuff with him. The sweep over the Dodgers, 3 games against the Nationals, then the All-Star break. Trevor McGill, Andrew Vaughn, any trade rumors. Drew Wagner, our very good friend, coming up next here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. I'm Mitch Nelles. Who put the question mark in the teleprompter?
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nelles. Brought to you by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Inside the clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball, because fundamental development starts with focus. Find them at focusbaseball.com.
Yeah, boy. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Reminder that this show and all of our shows, you can find them on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you get your listening pleasure. Catch the full episode, listen by individual hour, or jump straight into the highlights. Open up your favorite podcast app, search The Mason Crosby Show, hit the follow button so you get every minute of your show on your way, and on your time. And remember, Drew Wagner joins us every Monday and Thursday at 10 o'clock. So if you just want to listen to Drew Wagner appearances on the Mason Crosby Show, you can do that as well. I would do that at a bare minimum. I would listen to more than just Drew, but I would absolutely listen to Drew. Joining us now, he is the one, he is the only Drew Wagner. What up, Drew?
Homeboy, did you just drop a yeah, boy?
Yeah, boy. Public Enemy in the house.
Drew, you don't know what I deal with on a daily basis. Like, that is a tame Mitch Nelles.
Yeah. That is going back to 1989 summer camp.
Mitch, you and I are both middle-aged Caucasian men from the burbs.
True. One of us is from the East Coast, though.
Dropping a yeah, boy out of our mouths.
One of us is from
so wrong.
You're probably right. All right, Drew, we've got so much to get to. First of all, what do we catch you in the middle of today? It's an off day. There's 3 days till the All-Star break. I know you got a lot going on, both fun stuff and work stuff. What do you got going on right now?
I am getting ready to go tear down a fence.
Oh, you know what? I just told Tommy that you were doing some fence work on Monday. Have you moved up the timetable on the fence?
I got a little fortunate weather, and the incompetent clowns at the city of Milwaukee actually processed the permit on time. The fact that you need a permit to do something to your own property is ridiculous.
Did you slip them?
I'm going to go tear it down.
Did you slip them a 50?
Hell no.
Are you allowed to do that? Do people still do that? Are there
I mean,
still
it's
bribes
Milwaukee. I'm
in
pretty
public
sure
service?
That's the only way. Pretty sure the only way an elected or government official in Milwaukee operates. Come on.
There are cities way worse than Milwaukee.
Drew, I have a question for you. We're just going back to, Mount Rushmore of Drew Wagner tweets. Did you punch Mitch Nelles in the face after he tweeted out free baseball yesterday?
Because I did not see him until we were in the media interview room.
It's true.
No punches were thrown. But I've got it in the back pocket. I'm going to wait for him.
Is this like the slap bet from How? Is this like the slap bet from How I Met Your Mother? Oh man,
we're going to be sitting at the dinner table in the media dining room, just having a normal conversation. That's not coming from me. Don't worry. We'll be sitting at the media dining room dinner table, just having a normal conversation about things Mitch never talks about, like Boston sports.
Yeah,
and in between bites of a burger, I'm just going to reach over and slug him.
All right. I will own that, and I will wear it. Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports, our Milwaukee baseball insider. I want to start with Trevor McGill and getting the nod to the All-Star game, and just like the extreme confidence that he showed when we talked to him in the clubhouse after the game, that he had no other plans. He wasn't even planning to stay home. He was legitimately planning on being in Atlanta as a member of the National League All-Star game, regardless of whether he got named to the team originally or not. I love the dog in him that just says, nope, I'm an All-Star. I deserve this. I'm manifesting this. This is going to happen, and it happened. I thought that was pretty cool.
I did too. Listen, on first glance, McGill can come off basically, well, you know how people who don't know me very well describe me, right, Mitch?
Yes,
you know the word that I'm looking for.
Yep.
That's the same word a lot of people will use in describing Trevor McGill, which is maybe why him and I seem to, coexist so peacefully. But the dude believes in himself. And, I saw some comments on Twitter, what a cocky a-hole. Seems like kind of a jerk. Yeah, fine, so be it.
But
But
don't
this
you
was
want
not
that?
a matter
Don't you
of-
want that in your closer?
You do. I think you absolutely do. And I don't think it was coming from a place of arrogance. I think it was coming from a place of this guy has been through a lot in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's bounced around. He's had some injury history.
Yep.
He found a place in Milwaukee 2023, got a little bit of taste, hitched himself into a valuable position last year when Devin was hurt, was basically handed the job when Devin was traded, and told himself, okay, you're going to be an all-star this year. But what do you have to do to get to that point? It's something I talk about with my therapist all the time. Like, this is a goal that I have. Okay, great. It's a great goal to have. What do you have to do to get there?
Yes.
And what do you have
Love
to do what you have to do to get there? So the long story short is here, he did the work. And it's not just going out there, every time they hand him the ball and throwing fire. It's how do you take care of your body, especially when you're pitching on back-to-back days? How do you stay prepared? How do you know the game plan going in? Like, there's a ton of work that goes into being a big league pitcher. There's an extra load of work that goes into being a top-level closer and being available as much as he is and staying healthy when you throw as hard as he is.
Yes.
He's done the work. So for him to come out and say, I am going to be an all-star this year, that means he dedicated himself to doing all these things he has to do to be able to go out there every game and get guys out.
Yeah, I think, like, again, when you look at the pure numbers, he was in the mix to make the team regardless. And then sometimes it's just a numbers game with closers because every team has a closer. But to share that with us yesterday and share that with the fans, and I just loved. We talked about guys who have the dog in them, and he has that dog in him, and it was fun to hear him share that. Like, we're like, so what were you going on vacation? Were you going to stay? No, I was going to Atlanta. Were you going as a fan? No, I was going to the game. Loved it.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. All right, now I want to talk about Andrew Vaughn.
That was a good question. I wonder what intrepid reporter posited that query.
I
to Mr.
feel
McGill.
like it was Mr. Andrew Wagner.
That guy is a genius.
He's really good at his job. Follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. I also want to talk about Andrew Vaughn because, like, what a start to a career with a team. 3-run homer, technically the game-winning RBI in Game 1, then tying singles in Game 2 and Game 3. Game 3, a pinch hit in the 9th inning to tie the game. Like, and I know that, like, that I was telling everybody on the radio earlier that, like, that the way the media worked yesterday is like half the people were at Vaughn, half the people were at McGill. You and I were at McGill. And when Vaughn was done with the media, I just kind of went over to him and said, hey, I host a radio show. Like, what a great way. Like, what wasn't it special with the fans and like with those hits? And all he said to me was like, it was awesome, man. And I'm like, that's what it was. Like, for Andrew Vaughn, these first 3 games, for him and for the fans, it was awesome, man.
I mean, Tommy and I have already discussed on the leadoff show, which you can hear before every game right here on 1250, 105.7, The Fan. We know what the secret is to Andrew Vaughn's success, don't we, Tommy?
We do.
And what is it, Tommy?
It is the I was going to let you set it up because I have no idea I can't remember now on top of this, Drew.
Oh, come on now.
Is it his power? Is that what you're going with?
No, I'm going with his walk-up song, Johnny.
Oh, gosh, that's my bad. I should have knew that.
You even talked about that yesterday.
I thought
Tommy.
way too deep. On that. That was my bad. Of course, true. Yes.
No, but you're right. Like, baseball speaking, like, Andrew Vaughn is if he's got a way to figure it out. And sometimes it really is as simple as a change of scenery.
Yes.
Which sounds dumb, but the way that the guy makes contact, it's an offense generating swing. Like, he has great power, and it's like I said on the leadoff show, it's not just over the fence power, but he drives the baseball. And when you have such a speedy, athletic team like the Brewers, now you're talking guys going first to third and even first to home because he hits the ball to spots that are deep in the ballpark. That's valuable power, which means you don't always have to crush it over the fence. He's been, it's only 3 games, all right? Let's not get carried away here, but he's provided something in these 3 games that has been lacking and that they sincerely needed in these 3 games to win these 3 games. To say nothing of the home run in Game 1, I mean, that was electrifying.
Yes.
Sometimes it's the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and it's so far 3. I mean, and like you said, 3 games in. Everybody take a deep breath. Everybody relax. But it's been a fun 3 games to watch. That's for sure. Is there? We talked about it a little bit with Murph yesterday. But in your mind, is there any extra juice to sweeping the Dodgers? And with the realization that the All-Star. Oh, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Lost it for a second.
Any extra the fact that they swept the Dodgers, knowing that the All-Star break is coming, and that they come out of the All-Star break with 3 more against the Dodgers. Like this was a I don't know what it was, 33,000. We're at the field yesterday, which is a really nice crowd for a day game, and it was electric.
38 the day before, 30-something the day before that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the dog days of summer. People are going to the Dells. People are going to Door County. People are going camping. A midweek series. Granted, the Dodgers were in town. That's a huge turnout. That is huge.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. Like, and now they're gonna, after the All-Star break, they're gonna go to LA. So, like, what can they take from this series that as much as we know that momentum in baseball is tomorrow's starting pitcher. Brewers are off today. It's tomorrow's starting pitcher. But what can they take from this series to kind of have that extra bounce in their step, have that extra seed of confidence in their brain moving forward?
Well, the same intrepid reporter who queried Trevor McGill on his All-Star break plans also asked Pat Murphy that and did not get the answer, or any answer really, just got some rambling. But I think that they took a valuable lesson out of this, not just that they can beat these guys, but I think they realized what it is they have to do to beat these guys, or anybody. And that means come out there and play your brand of baseball, stick to the plan, don't try to do too much, move guys over, put the ball, all that little stuff, all that, the fundamentals and the, incidentals that Tommy and I talk about before every game, the little things, the preparation, all that stuff. If you do all that stuff, you can go out there and you can beat the Dodgers. You can beat the Phillies. You can beat the good teams. When you get away from that, you can lose to the Pirates. I think that's the lesson that the Brewers should be taking out of this series. You look at what they did in Philadelphia. You look at what they did this week against the Dodgers. And that's got to give you some confidence going out to Dodger Stadium next weekend and starting this thing back up. You're going to have to bring your A game. I mean, it's easily the most talented team in baseball, and you're playing at home, and they're going to be loaded for bear, because if you don't think they're PO'd about losing 3 straight to the Brewers, and what have they lost, 6, 7 in a row overall? Like, Dodgers are coming out hungry because they've got all the pressure on them. They're the billion-dollar team. The Brewers are just the happy-go-lucky scrappers. Like, they're supposed to lose that series.
I love it.
You got to be ready. You've got to do your preparation. You've got to do all the little things before the game, in each at-bat. You can't take it for granted, and you can't let your guard down. That should be the lesson they take out of this series.
Drew, I got a question for you, and it goes back to the starting pitching, and we saw all 3 starters go 6 innings at least in the series, as well as give up just 2 runs during that time. Do you think that this starting pitching is starting to click, and that is putting some pressure on maybe the front office to get anything working for a bat in the trade deadline period here? Or do you think that the Brewers are just going to continue to ride with what they have? Mainly because Mizorowski right now, it seems like, has given everyone some sort of rejuvenation in the starting pitching staff. And to do what they did against the best lineup in baseball, it's starting to make people think that they have the pitching to make some sort of run in the postseason, but maybe question what they have on the offensive side. It feels like there is some added pressure now on the front office.
This obsession with go out and get a bat, Like, what is it that people think the Brewers are going to do? Like, Aaron Judge is not available.
Right.
Juan Soto is not available. Show me someone that's guaranteed to go out and hit 20 home runs, 15 home runs down the stretch. someone that's going to hit 300 with runners in scoring position. Is that person available? Are the names that are getting bandied about, if you look at their numbers and compare them to what the Brewers have, are they that much of an upgrade?
No, I don't think there's anyone too exciting. I'm just wondering, like, because the Brewers pitching staff, it seems like, is in an elite tier right now. And the bats, obviously, maybe not, because looking at what they did over the series, I mean, they won 2 one-run games in which they weren't scoring 4 or more runs in those contests either. Like, this is now a team that it feels like they should not be patient. Like, they have to go for something this year with the staff they have right now, I think.
Yeah, but again, they're limited in their options because who are you going to replace? Durbin?
I think Ortiz is the one that
Ortiz is the guy that people are talking about.
Okay.
Like, do you get a shortstop or do you move Terang to shortstop for the second half of the season if you get a bigger bat at second or third?
Yeah, I don't think they're moving Terang to shortstop. I don't think they're going to mess with that, especially after the issue with the arm in spring training. I think if they ever make that move, it's something that's going to be, when they have their exit interviews, they're going to say, okay, Bryce, here's the deal. You need to start doing a strength program and a throwing program and readjust to making the throw from short, that kind of thing, because it's not just that simple. When you're used to making the same throw and the same motion at the same strength level for an entire year, it's not that easy. It's different for guys that are utility and bounce around, but when you're doing it you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who are the shortstops that are available? Who are the third basemen that are available? I think how do they fit in?
Yeah, the third baseman that people are going to talk about is going to be Suarez. Like, is Arizona giving up on the season? We've seen Suarez go places and be great. We've also seen him go places and be terrible.
That's exactly it. He is as freaky as it gets. So, you're sitting there and you're basically, going to the roulette wheel. Is this guy who's got some more pop than the guys that we have going to be hot the rest of the way? Or are we better off sticking with our guys that have similar numbers but don't have the pop? Like, how does it fit? Just going out and getting a bat doesn't guarantee anything. It's people, and it's hard to make a trade. And this is the thing I harp on every single year. People think it's so easy to just, hey, we're going to give you this guy. And it's always, let's give up a guy that sucks for a guy that's an all-star. That's always the stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, this isn't MLB The Show. This isn't your fantasy team. There's another guy on the other end of the phone who's trying to extract as much as possible while you're trying to give up as little as possible. Like, it is incredibly hard to make a trade. So I don't know if the quote-unquote bat that the Brewers need is out there. I really don't. I don't know if there's anyone that's that much of an upgrade to this offense that's going to move the needle one way or the other.
Drew Wagner joining the Mason Crosby Show here. Follow him on Twitter @byAndrewWagner. Drew, one other thing I want to comment on here is now the Milwaukee Brewers, with what they have changed up on the bullpen side of things and with the starting pitching, and we just learned today that at about 10 o'clock, Nestor Cortez is coming back and on a rehab assignment in Appleton. Where do you think he slots in now? We've heard some rumors of a starter going to the bullpen or, a 6-man rotation, but this is a guy that they're going to want on the big league roster this season, and I don't know where his role is now because all things seem to be firing for the Brewers on the pitching side.
But the only thing the only other thing I'll say to that is there a way, not a 6-man starting rotation, but like a 5.5-man starting rotation where they don't start Mizorowski every 5th day, but they give him an extra day off here and there as they're trying to keep him fresh and not overwhelm him, knowing he's never pitched more than 80 innings in a season ever before. Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, you talk about conversations that you didn't expect to have. Let's go back, to the start of April. The Brewers are getting absolutely bludgeoned. All of their starters and all of their backups are hurt.
We're going to look back at this 2025 and be like, oh, my God, Elvin Rodriguez started the home opener. Does anyone remember that?
And he just got designated for assignment.
Right? Yes.
I actually hopped on this morning. My good friend Ebo out in Madison, and we got on this morning. We were talking about it. The Brewers right now, if you look at the standings, they have a better record and better run differential than the Yankees, which is incredible when you think about how this season started. They were basically, I made the joke that Matt Arnold was hanging out by the kid's speed pitch out in the right field corner looking for potential starters. And now you're trying to figure out who to put in the rotation because you have too many of them. I mean, baseball is so crazy. I don't know what they're going to do. I think the best case scenario is for Cortez to come back. Maybe they send Mizorowski down for a week or two just to take a breather, to step back and see if they can deal Cortez before the deadline. If he comes back healthy, gives you a couple of good starts, there's going to be a contender that needs an extra pitcher because everyone needs some healthy pitching.
Sure.
I think that's the best case scenario. You're not going to get a superstar package in return. You might get a depth piece. You might get, a backup piece, a utility piece that helps. But that's the best case scenario. Cortez comes back, send Mizorowski down for 2 weeks or so just to stay fresh. Just go out. You're going to do like a 2-inning start at Nashville. Do most of your work on the side, kind of a spring training type thing where guys, they pitch their inning, it goes faster than expected, then they go finish their work in the bullpen. I could see something like that happening. And what you want there is for Cortez to come out throwing bullets and get someone interested and swing a deal. So you get Mizorowski rest, then you bring him back up. He's good to go for the stretch run. Will that work? Will that happen? I don't know, but I think that's the best case scenario.
Drew Wagner from Forbes Sports, our Milwaukee baseball insider. He's joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. Drew, enjoy the day off with no Brewer game today. 3 games against the Nationals and then the All-Star break. It seems like it's all coming at the right time. I know you when your team is hot, you want them to keep playing. But it does seem like it's a good spot for the All-Star break. And I know we'll talk about it next week, but I'm already looking forward to getting out on the West Coast and seeing what the Brewers can do against the Dodgers and the Cal Raleighs.
I am too, but right now I'm just focusing on Harley homecoming weekend.
Nice.
It's going to be a hoot, baby. It's going to be a hoot.
Enjoy the fence and then enjoy Harley homecoming. Should be a blast. We expect a full report on Monday.
Yeah, welcome to Milwaukee for all of you riding in and listening to this program because I know as all you Harley riders are driving to Milwaukee, you're listening to Morning Sports in Milwaukee. We appreciate that.
They've all got the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and you can actually hear us on the iHeart app now as well. So everybody's tuning in to the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nelles, Tommy Wirtz, and super guest Drew Wagner. Drew, thanks.
Look at us doing cross-promotion, baby.
Love it. Love it. All right, Drew, thanks for jumping on. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon.
See you, bro.
That's Drew Wagner again. Thanks for joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Mishmash coming up. We've got all sorts of news and notes and items and ideas and pontifications coming up. I know Tommy's been sitting back there pontificating for quite a while.
No.
No
idea what that word means.
No pontificating? Just thinking.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Just
yeah, I
stuff.
think all the time.
Exactly. You got a lot going on up there. More than people know. He's TK, Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the number one network in Milwaukee. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Mason's off till Tuesday. Voices carry. Tommy Wirtz is here. Tommy, do you know who Ben Askren is?
I do, yeah. He is Arrowhead grad,
Yep.
made it big at Missouri. I'm actually a big college wrestling fan, one of my favorite sneaky sports to watch.
Yeah.
Obviously had a cup of
not know
coffee.
that about you.
Cup of coffee in the UFC.
Yeah, MMA, yep.
And now I just saw he released his first video after he was going through, I believe he had a severe case of pneumonia, but
That's
I don't
right,
want to put that out if it wasn't correct.
No, that is correct.
And just got a double lung transplant.
Yes.
And he looked ill, rough in the video.
He's lost about 50 pounds during a 45-day stretch. A double lung transplant, where he basically said he came out and said that he
died 4 times apparently during that stretch.
His heart stopped for about 20 seconds, and it's just like that's a crazy story.
Say what you want about Jake Paul as well, who's a very controversial athlete / influencer, but he famously knocks out Ben Askren in one of their fights.
Yep.
And they had a little feud going on during that time. But he stepped up, made a huge, set up kind of like a GoFundMe thing, and about $500,000 because Ben Askren's insurance apparently wasn't going to cover it.
Right.
And he led a charge to help get Ben Askren that double lung transplant. So kudos to him for the one time.
Yep. So been hospitalized in Wisconsin. Says I have no recollection, zero idea, no idea what happened for most of the last 6 weeks of his life. So we'll keep Ben Askren in our prayers for a healthy and speedy recovery. After seeing it, and I've been following that for like the last couple of weeks, and then made headlines today because they did. He'd been waiting for the transplant, and now he's had the transplant. I don't know how successful double lung transplants are. I don't know how that goes, but obviously we hope for his.
Was able to muster up enough to talk and release a video, right? Which is better than the last 6 weeks have gone.
Absolutely. Some breaking news out of Wimbledon. Amanda Anisimova, American, upset number 1 ranked Aryna Sabalenka 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 just happened. Anisimova, born in New Jersey, grew up in Florida, 13th seeded, playing in her second major semifinal since she played in the 2019 French Open when she was 17.
So crazy.
So she is now in the finals. She takes down world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka.
Can I have a hot take about Wimbledon?
It's the best?
It's too long.
I mean, it's too long.
It's just every I turn the TV on to ESPN or Sports Center every day, and for the last, it feels like month, it's been Wimbledon.
I think it's great. I love it. I'm
I
here
respect
for
it that it's on in the morning so that you have some
it's in
sort
the morning.
of sport
it's
action.
Something in the summer.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going, like there's so many.
It's just tennis overload. And like, I know Alcaraz is everyone loves watching him and what he can do as a young age right now.
But there's also, I mean,
like Djokovic is still
against
in it,
Sinner,
right? Yeah.
Like it is a stacked semifinal on the men's side.
I would just let's make this thing a week. 2 weeks is crazy. I think it's been going on for almost 2 weeks.
No,
now.
I think you're crazy.
That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
But that's how the U.S. Open works. That's how the French. I mean, that's a tennis tournament.
Yeah, then it's a problem with tennis.
There are 4 majors all year.
I get it.
Do you?
But the majors for golf are 4 days.
Right, but that's good. That's how long a golf tournament is. This is how long a major tennis tournament is. It's always been this way.
Well, then they should play on interactive courts. Courts should change, mix it up. Otherwise, you're just watching the same thing.
One day the U.S. Open will do that. Wimbledon will never do that, but one day U.S. Open will definitely
I need a major
on
where
a screen.
I need a major in which you are playing on grass, clay, and whatever the other third. So what's the third surface
Just hard court.
Yeah, hard court.
Yeah.
Like all three of them, you just shuffle. Like every set.
And I want
you're
it all
switching.
on a virtual screen where it looks like you're playing in the middle of the ocean.
Like Pong. It's literally
Yeah.
just Pong, and
Right.
it can show you where it lands exactly every time.
All right, we touched on this in the first hour, but I wanted to get back to it. Minnesota Vikings outside linebacker Dallas Turner was allegedly a victim of a bank fraud scheme that resulted in the theft of $240,000. According to a search, he reported the fraud. Someone impersonating a banker at his bank called Turner February 19th and claimed someone was attempting to impersonate him at a Chase Bank branch in Arizona and presented 2 copies of ID to execute a wire transfer. The caller instructed Turner to transfer money to 2 separate businesses to prevent the attempted theft. Turner then went to 2 Chase Bank branches himself to transfer $120,000 each to Island Food Truck LLC and CNLFL LLC. Turner later realized he may have been a victim of a fraud scam after discussing the matter with a family member.
Yeah, you think?
The Eagan Police Department, that's Eagan, Minnesota.
It's right outside the cities.
Yep.
I know exactly where it is.
They've asked J.P. Morgan Chase for details. He's a first-round selection last year out of Alabama. He had 3 sacks and an interception in 16 games during his regular season. So again, PSA newsflash to everybody listening out there on the Odyssey app, on the iHeart app, on 1250 AM, on 105.7 FM, on thefanmilwaukee.com. If someone pretending to be from your bank calls you and tells you that someone is trying to steal your money and you need to go to the bank and transfer funds out of your bank to a random LLC that you've never heard of before, the first thing you should do is hang up. And you can never think about it again if you want to. If you want to do your due diligence, call your bank back. Never trust a phone call incoming to you, whether it's your mortgage company, your bank, your doctor, whoever.
Car warranty,
right? That's asking you for personal information. You hang up the phone and you call back that institution, and you make sure when you Google the phone number, you're actually going to a website that's a real website. That's their actual website. And you do your due diligence and you find out, because if Mr. Turner here had hung up the phone and called Chase Bank and said, hey, I just got a call that somebody's trying to steal my money from Arizona, they would have said, not happening. That is fraud. That is somebody impersonating. That's somebody trying to steal your money. Don't worry about it. We'll put a flag on your account just to watch it for the next couple of days, but you're good. He didn't do that. He literally just went and wired money to random LLCs that he had no idea what they were. Don't wire money to outside LLCs from your bank, which is federally protected money.
I have another one here that we touched on that I wanted to bring up to you. The NBA Summer League happening right now. Bucks' first game is today as well.
I had that on my list to touch on. Yep.
I want to know, the whole format today, or the whole marketing plan today, is Cooper Flagg going up against LeBron James Jr.
Who?
LeBron James Jr.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, that's his name. I have a question for you, Mitch.
Yeah.
Like, is this really benefiting the NBA anymore, marketing Bronny? Because I think everyone's in agreement that this guy, is a fringe NBA player at best, a back end of the bench guy at best. Do they really gain anything from saying what a matchup in NBA Summer League between Cooper Flagg and Bronny James?
So I'm going to argue it both ways. I'm going to argue it 2 ways for you, and you can decide which way you want to take it. My argument is there are still people who, because his name is Bronny James, are curious. They don't think he's great, but they're curious to see what he can do. I also think more people on my side of things just want to see Cooper Flagg absolutely dominate Bronny James and embarrass him and destroy him, then look at the camera and say, LeBron, I'm coming for you.
Well,
I want it to turn into a WWE. Cooper Flagg destroys Bronny.
Oh,
talks smack to LeBron.
You have it. Come on, say it.
Oh, what is it? Who's your daddy?
Main event.
Oh, the
main event.
Yes.
He's
right,
from
because
Maine.
he's the main event.
WWE main event.
This Saturday, by the way, Goldberg's fighting at the main event. Man, that guy just needs to get a wheelchair.
I just don't know what LeBron James Jr. does for the NBA's marketing strategy, and that's all he is, if that, right now in the NBA, not from his star power. It's obviously his family tree along the way.
Yep.
I just don't, Market Cooper Flag. No one cares about
I know.
Bronny James Jr. in this matchup.
I think they do a little. I think they do a little bit.
If they are, it's a troll. It's a troll.
But
That's why they are paying
No, but
attention,
it's
because they
also-
want to see him fail.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. They want to see how much better Cooper Flag is than him, but it's also a curiosity. Like, can he turn into a legit? Like, listen, Thanasis is not an NBA player. Okay, Thanasis is not an NBA player, but we love Thanasis in Milwaukee. Thanasis has his own podcast and is his own like little minor celebrity in Milwaukee, and this year will get to be on the Bucks again because he's healthy, because his little brother is one of the best players in basketball. Okay, so we have that in Milwaukee,
Right.
like.
But
now
I've never seen the NBA say
Promote
Thanasis going
right.
up against
Exactly.
Bronny James
Exactly.
in a matchup
Nope.
because they are family lineage.
That is correct. And so I think it's more the curiosity of like, how much better is the real main event than the son of one of the best players of all time?
I agree, and I just don't know why.
You don't like that.
I again, maybe I'm on hater mode right now in this last segment, but Wimbledon's too long. Bronny James not marketable.
All right, then tell me what you think about paying somebody 2 years, $72.5 million to play for the Phoenix Suns, who are going to be horrible. Devin Booker signs a 2-year, $145 million extension for a team that's going to win 30 games this year.
Yeah, but he's their franchise, and they've made that clear with trading out Kevin Durant and how he's been there through a title, a potential title run, a title appearance. I understand the lure of Devin Booker. He is a very good scorer, and that makes him exciting in the NBA today, because that is what the NBA and the NBA fans care the most about, is who's putting up the most points, right? But I mean, if you're looking at Shea's contract and what Shea is to the NBA and comparing it to Devin Booker, who is very similar AAV now,
right.
I mean, just a ridiculous overpay for Devin Booker.
So Shea signed a 5-year, $285, which is average 71.25. Devin Booker signs for more, 72.5, but he only signs a 2-year. He doesn't sign a 4 or 5-year extension, which I think is pretty smart on the part of
Has
Phoenix.
Devin Booker ever made an All-NBA team? Like, if you had to guess right now, I'm looking it up.
I would say no. Say no.
He's a 2-time All-NBA player.
Not first team. First team?
He was a first-team All-NBA in
Seriously?
21-22, and he was third team in 23-24.
Yeah, like third team I could see. First team is garbage. Who was second and third team that year?
I'm looking right now. Yeah. So the first team All-NBA that year was Giannis, Luka, Jokic, Booker, Tatum. And then the second team that year for guards.
Hold on. Tell me that first team again.
Giannis, Luka, Jokic, Booker, Tatum.
Wait, who doesn't belong?
Right. Yeah, he is.
Like, you have 4 MVP candidates.
He actually got the 4th most votes.
All
Like,
right.
he got more than Jason Tatum that year.
Yeah, of course he did.
And he had
Tatum hate.
Very similar numbers throughout that entire process, too. I mean, virtually identical to Jason Tatum. Yep. On the second team, guards were Steph Curry and Ja Morant. And Steph Curry actually did have higher win shares than Devin Booker did that season.
Like, who's putting Devin Booker on a team above Steph Curry?
He had a very solid season, 26.8, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
That's nice.
Which is a solid year. But then Steph Curry averaged about 1.5 points less, but more assists and more rebounds than him.
And
more steals and the same amount of blocks.
Yep. So, I mean, it's a narrative the NBA went with for a couple of years there, that Devin Booker was a superstar. Devin Booker's absolutely an all-star, and he's really good, but he's not great, and he's shown that. And Drew Holiday says, here, hold my beer. I will take the ball. You can have my beer. We will throw an alley-oop, and we will win the championship, and you won't.
Valley-oop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The oop in the valley, the valley-oop. So Devin Booker gets a big extension. Also, crazy headlines out of Big 12 Media Day, and we don't have really time to get to it today, but like whether it's Dion and his health or his contract, whether it's Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State, who you always know is going to say what's on his mind, talking about like, listen, they're employees. They're not athletes anymore. Everybody's thinking it. I'm the only one who's saying it.
Yeah.
And it's true.
We've said that on this show.
Of course.
That's the direction it's heading to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We all get it. Brewers are off today. Leadoff show is off today. Sparky has Tim Dillard today at 3:20. So make sure to tune in to Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's at 3:20 today. You will not want to miss that. Also, you will not want to miss in a couple of weeks, it is the Beloit Bruja Softball Slam, the charity softball game with Mason and Jordy and me and Tommy and Sparky and lots of other people will be there as well. We're raising money for Make-A-Wish Wisconsin, amazing organization granting wishes to kiddos who really need it. Make-A-Wish Wisconsin. Register for your chance to win tickets at thefanmilwaukee.com, thefanmilwaukee.com. Thunderwatch coming up next. What a fun show. You know what? You know what, Tommy? Things are good when your baseball team's good. Are they not?
I agree.
Like, I feel like everybody in Milwaukee right now is just like walking with a little extra skip in their step, little extra
3 straight
happiness.
games of 33 or more thousand.
Right.
Like, that's pretty big for Milwaukee.
Sweeping the Dodgers, beating Kershaw, beating Glasnow, beating Yamamoto. I mean, it's just like, it is a happy day in Milwaukee. Let's keep the happiness going. Let's, we'll figure out what's going on with Thunderwatch next on the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee. Hi, Rich. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the number one network in Milwaukee. And it is time for our, weekly or whenever. We didn't do it last week because Mason was here. Thunder Watch. Tommy, you got our Thunder Watch standings up there?
I did, and then my entire computer setting went off. So I know the last one I was reading it, Chad Patrick was added to Thunder Watch. And I got it back. Okay, cool. And then maybe Jared Koenig, member, was a part of that maybe, which is probably a no at this point, right?
Let's make that a no.
I don't even know where we're going to go with this, Mitch. Like, we have Fickle on there still, Doc, Kuzma, Horst, Haslam, Joey Ortiz. That was a great pick by you as well. And Elton Jenkins as well is also on Thunder Watch. So as far as adding anyone new, like, Brewers are the only thing in full swing. I think we can take Horst off, right?
Let's take Horst off for now. That works.
All right.
Haslam's still there. Doc's still there. Logan Henderson's 8-3 with a 3.16 ERA. We got the Nashville Sounds play-by-play guy tomorrow, right?
Yep, Jeff Him.
Nice, love that. Tobias Myers is 2-4 with a 2.93 ERA, so he's been pitching well down there. Let's see who else. Garrett Stallings, who I've never heard of. He's got 6 starts. I don't know if I'd really count him, but he's pitched in 17 games. Is 2-1 with a 2.90.
Nestor Cortez, could add him.
Yeah, I mean, Nestor, I think we're kind of wait and see with some of these guys are kind of wait and see. Is there anybody worrying you out of the bullpen?
No.
Okay.
Maybe Easton McGee, but that doesn't feel like it's really relevant.
Nah.
Grant Anderson.
Any Badgers football, Packers football? We're still a couple of weeks away from training camps. I hate to do it. I'm putting your buddy on. Jake Bowers.
Okay.
Jake Bowers on Thunder Watch.
Respect.
Yeah.
He's on.
Yep. And he'll hit a couple home runs against the Nationals this week, so we're good.
We've got a good record right now of you making people get off.
Well, we put Joey on, and then Joey,
then he had the best 2 weeks ever,
right,
and then a week and a half.
And then decided to piss his manager off.
Yeah,
so.
Yep.
All right, so tomorrow we're going to play back on the green. If you heard it yesterday, great. If not,
Jason Brandowski, River Club of Mequon.
Which would be my home course if I golfed. Because, like I said, I've been there tons of times. I love it there. I have friends who belong there. So I'm a big fan of that course. We'll do that. Nashville Sounds play-by-play guy tomorrow. Maybe Scott Grodzki from CBS 58 might hold that for Monday, though.
Okay.
He's available. But we got a couple guests already tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, Tommy, enjoy the night off, my friend.
You as well, Mr. Nelles.
I get every night off. I don't have to host a leadoff show. He is Tommy Wirtz. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. The Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the number one network in Milwaukee. We were in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Remember, if you've missed any part of today's show, you can listen anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Mason Crosby Show on your favorite app. Hit the follow button. Catch up on every episode, every hour, every highlight, whenever works for you. This has been the Mason Crosby Show. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. See you tomorrow, everybody.
I was so